Las Vegas. This is NAB Show Live, produced by Broadcast Beat.
We were just going to do a quick interview. Oh, okay. Oh, we're on? Hey, we're on.
We're on, Louie.
Hey, that's what you do, is you try someone else to do it. And then the powers of suggestion and indigestion.
TomBernardPodcast.com, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew, our my wife and I's son. My son. He'll be engineering this whole shot anyway.
Is he gonna? Okay, good.
Which you already told me is your favorite. You like
he
him
is.
better
I
than
love
anybody else
Andrew.
in the family. Louie Anderson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Where is he? Louie?
Louie Anderson, the Best Actor Award at this year's, or
Best Supporting Actor.
I said Best Actor.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
You want me to talk to him?
Yes, I would.
Best Supporting Actor, but the Emmys this year. Well, you and I talked about that quite a bit, as a matter of fact. Louie and I have known each other for about 25 years, something like that.
Yeah. Only been friends for 5.
Only been friends for 5, but known each other for 25 years. Louie, I do a morning show in Minneapolis as well as a podcast, the Tom Bernard Podcast.
Number 1 morning show, but go ahead.
It's only been 32 years. I've been doing it for 32 years, and we were out here.
Lincoln. He talked to Lincoln on the first one.
I did indeed. He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I told him, the memorial, there's got to be a chair. So in any case, we're doing the morning show from Treasure Island back in those days.
Yeah.
And we're doing the morning show every year. We do it in Vegas. I'm sitting there doing the show, and all of a sudden they said, there's somebody here to see you. Louie Anderson walks in. He's got, about a dozen boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts.
12 dozen of 12 dozen. That's
Yes.
a gross. That's a gross of donuts.
It was a gross of donuts for everybody.
Can't count.
Everybody there watching. It was unbelievable.
It was so much fun.
It was unbelievable.
Well, it was a big deal, That was back in the day when all this didn't exist.
Okay.
None of this was around.
I was just told that it's 11:24, so when you got to leave,
No, we're good. We're good. We're taking it right to the. I'm a really fast runner. No, we got it. Let's keep going.
I have no doubt about that.
Isn't this an amazing thing?
I love the big Las Vegas sign. This hall is just amazing. The people here, they love your show, Baskets.
I'm very pleased and having a blast.
I will tell you something, Louie. You and I talked about this already in person and on the radio show, but I think we were watching that night. We got a call. As Brenda Jameson, Scott's wife, called and said,
yeah.
The Emmys have started. You got to tune in because they're going to do Best Supporting Actor. Was it first?
Yeah.
It was like the first award.
They get it over with.
Yes, to get it over.
Get it
with.
out of the way.
So they're going to do it. So Catherine and I tune in. Catherine and Louie don't get along at all. It's horrible. My wife.
She's mean. She's a mean woman.
Yeah, she's a mean woman. My family loves
I love
Louie.
her. I love Catherine.
You've been wonderful to my family. But in any case, so we tune in, and there's Louie, and they announce that Louie's won, and Louie doesn't react. And I told Catherine, he didn't hear them. And she said, I know. I say, he does not know that he won. He didn't react at all. And so you're looking around at all the other people that are up, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And you're going, and you're expecting them to go up on stage and accept the award, and then all of a sudden you realize that you had won, which is, I even get emotional about this, Louie. I even get very emotional about it because
it was a great thing. It was a really great honor and
a lot of hard work, man.
It was, but all those people are my friends that I was up against. But when you win an award, the first thing you do is go, ha ha. No. I mean, there is a little part of you that does that, but
you suck.
And then I thank my mom and all my family. And
you did.
That's the kind of stuff, because I'm really playing my mom.
You
should be her
man.
award.
No,
and when I thought I'd win the Emmy? During all the commercials, they were playing the Vikings and the Packers game, and I went, oh. And we were winning from Minnesota Vikings were winning.
Right.
And I went, oh, that means I have a chance. If they could win the game, I could win an Emmy.
And you did.
And I did.
And it was unbelievable.
Well,
but I remember the first time you and I talked about it, it was very emotional for you, and I loved that about you. Again, we've been friends for so long with the family, all the rest. Actually, my family, a very quick story. My mother and Louis were best of friends. And my mother and Louis used to get together. My mother was a big-time Roman Catholic. She loved the Catholic culture more than the religion, but the culture, I guess it's Irish, Italian, German, French, all these people.
Yeah.
But she loved it. So her entire house was filled with statues of angels. There were little statues of angels everywhere and a bobblehead of Louis Anderson. It was
with a veil on it.
Yeah, you had a veil on it. There's no question.
No, that was really sweet. There was the Pope, there was the governor of Minnesota, and then there was me.
Yeah, that's right. There was the Pope.
Right.
There was Tim Pawlenty.
Yeah.
And there was you.
Yeah.
And
his mom was a great person.
She was amazing.
She was a lovely person. That's the greatest thing, are relationships in this business. The relationships you have. Tom, when you're a comic, you just want to get people to come and see your show. So you have to be resourceful. The newspaper doesn't want to talk to you. TV doesn't care about having you on. But radio, if you could get on the top radio station, which Tom has always been, your room was full if you're funny. And so for years, that really supported me. I'd go back, I'd go on Tom's show, we'd sell all the tickets. I'd bring back some cash for him, slide it over to him. No. But radio is really one of the first things that most entertainers end up doing, especially comics. And TV and everything is nice, but the podcast, to me, is the future, is really going to be the future. We're going to be tuning into everything. We're no longer going to have, we're not going to be owned by the cable companies anymore unless they get into the podcast business, which I'm sure they could. But I'm having a blast. I love doing what I do. I still work. I'm going down to Naples, Florida today to do some stand-up comedy and
wherever I'm not, he
little
goes.
Body surfing.
I was just there, and now you're going.
Oh, were you really?
You're unbelievable. We have clips to show, by the way.
Oh, you do from Baskets?
We have clips now.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
Let's see them.
You want to just run them back to back, or do you want to?
Run them back to back. Why not?
If you
don't
mind,
we'll talk about them.
We'll run them back to back. Here's Louis on Baskets. TomBernardPodcast.com.
Chip, what are you dreaming about? Oh, who cares? Anyway, I got you this. Oh. It was the cheapest one they had. Well, this is not up for debate. I want you to have some. I need you to keep in touch with me. I need you to be the kid I don't have to bail out of jail anymore. The guy who calls and says, "Hey, Mom, I'm doing good." Now listen, this is a big chance for you to turn your whole life around. We are now going to be on an upward trajectory. Spread your wings. But no capsules, they're 35 cents.
Louis, tell us about that.
Well, I worked really hard on that scene because Zach would not cooperate. He does it on purpose all the time. He would not work with me on the scene. So I had to we just worked and worked. We probably did that 20 times, and I could not say trajectory. That's all I can say. Even now, I can't say the word. I've got some kind of mental block. And I just said, I did it, and the director kept it, and it's great. It's something that, the thing that character is like my mom. Never lets mispronouncing a word stop her from doing her thing. She's optimistic. She finds the silk lining in every single thing, and that, and her main goal, this character's main goal, is to keep that family together, because that's her whole identity. And so in this episode, she was not going to let her son slide into the abyss. And
magnificent. Louis, I was thinking today, the guy that I learned how to interview people from.
I need longer socks.
Those are good-looking socks, brother.
I need longer socks.
Watching Johnny Carson back in the day, I learned to interview people by watching Johnny Carson. And when he brought you on and said this is his first time on national television, I will never forget that. It was one of the first interviews where it really locked in that I need to interview a lot of comedians because Johnny was so good at that.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that Burt Reynolds just commented on his Cosmopolitan picture where he was naked, except he was covering his crotch with his hand. And Johnny Carson, do you remember what he said?
It's something about this. Yeah, go ahead.
He said, you know, they wanted me to do that, but they couldn't find a catcher's mitt. Which is a pretty good line.
Pretty good joke for back then.
For back then, it was a great joke.
Yeah, that's a risque joke.
Because they let it go. We need to bring somebody up on stage for you, correct?
Oh, my friend John's here.
You got to get going.
Yeah, I got to get going. John he was a valet at Bally's. He watched my show. He became a writer on The Feud, and he a producer on Pimp My Ride, and he also has done a million shows. I'm going to get out of here. I love you, Tommy.
I love you too,
Johnny has a product. Mwah. I love you.
I love you very much.
Johnny,
with me and walk me through this?
yeah, just talk to him. This is Johnny's product,
I will
you
do
guys.
that.
This is stripper chips.
Really?
Yes.
Johnny, come and sit over here. Louie, give Catherine a call.
I will.
We love you, pal.
Love you too.
Be careful. Drive carefully. Louis Anderson, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at you, big shot.
Oh boy, this is my. Be gentle with me. This is my very first bit of press ever for this product, and
honestly,
thank you for this. Yes. So thank you for this audible that you called minutes ago. This is a huge.
Do I get to keep these?
Yes, absolutely. So thank you to you and Louie.
Not a problem.
Stripper chips.
We love
the world's sexiest tortilla chips.
The world's sexiest tortilla chips.
In the shape
stripper chips,
of a beautiful girl.
Which
Only
is
in
unbelievable.
Vegas.
Did we get a full shot of that? Can we get a shot of that? Hey, he's getting out of here right on time. He's taking 800,000 pictures. All right, tell me how stripper chips happen.
Producers they're trying to figure this out. The lower third is just question marks. What is happening?
That's
Who
all
is
right.
This guy?
That'll work. I'll explain. It's my job to explain it. Stripper chips.
Thank you again very much.
What are they called? The stripperiest chips?
The world's sexiest tortilla chips.
The world's sexiest tortilla chips.
So it's it was an idea I had. I'm a reality TV producer, and I come up with a lot of crazy ideas. And
Johnny, give me your car keys. I'll get this stuff, and I'll send the keys back.
Honest to God, really?
I gotta go.
You're a disaster. Who loves you more than me,
I don't
though?
know where the car is.
While we're doing this, I'll do a commercial while we're doing this.
It's in that north.
Since you're doing that anyway, let's talk a little bit about a new product from the folks at My Pillow. The My Pillow mattress. My Pillow created this mattress, so you know that the same standard of excellence went into creating this mattress as it did the My Pillow. It's made right here in Minnesota. Well, we're in Vegas today, but you know what I'm saying. And it has a 120-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty, guaranteed not to go. You know what I'm saying. The mattress is made up of, different types of fill, each one selected to help improve your sleep quality. Provides the maximum comfort and support you need. Helps keep your temperature right. That's big for me. Sometimes I sleep hot, sometimes I sleep cold. I mean, it's just how it is. That's right for you as an individual. You need your right temperature. That's all there is to it. And durability, the base of this mattress is made from My Pillow fill, so you know that it's going to last. We even offer free shipping. Just call 1-800-544-8939 or go to mypillow.com, and you get $100 off when you use the promo code TOM, T-O-M. That's 1-800-544-8939. Go to mypillow.com and get a $100 off little tip. Where are you going? Sit down. $100 off when you use promo code TOM. Made in the USA, in Minnesota. My Pillow mattress. Ladies and gentlemen, stripper chips. Johnny, okay. So how much time do we have with Johnny?
Probably 30
Joshua?
seconds, because I'm also
30
Louis
seconds?
Anderson's ride to the airport.
That's good? Okay, tell us about stripper chips, and then you got to drive them to the airport.
So real quick, they are, like I said, the world's sexiest tortilla chips. I thought I wanted to come up with something. I'm from Vegas originally, and I wanted to come up with something that sort of adds to the only in Vegas stereotype. And
Sure.
So I created this, and they're all over. They're at Liquor Library, in the airport, Snackers, Nacho Daddies, the Fabulous Freddy's location. So Again, thank you so much for bringing me on. And,
Johnny,
and
our
I have a light
pleasure.
thanks to Louis Anderson, and now actually you just made these legitimate. So thank you to
You're
you,
a
Tom.
good man. Johnny, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Call me on
Thank
a
you.
longer segment. We'll have you on the podcast.
All right, that's very nice.
All right, young man. Drive carefully with my buddy. Where's Scott? I'm going to take a 5-second silence here so they can insert commercials back at home base. Just 5 seconds. We are back on TomBernardPodcast.com. I don't know where Scott went, but I know Bob Beck is on the phone. Bob, how are you?
Very well, Tom. Can you hear me?
Oh, God, I can hear you very well. You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
When's the last time you saw Doug Dawson, Bob?
I said goodbye to him about 4 days ago.
Oh, that's right. He went home. That's right. He went back home. Bob and I have a mutual friend, Doug Dawson from Toronto. Maybe one of the nicest men ever born. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Bob, let's talk about your book, because what I want to do is bring up your book, and then I want to sit back and listen, because Bob and I sat and talked, about a month and a half ago, something like that? I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so it's all about Tailhook. First of all, your background and your position. And by the way, thank you for your service. We always want to mention that and make sure that gets taken care of. But tell us, first of all, give us the name of the book. Tell us your background, and then I want to hear. This has a lot to do with women in the armed forces and kind of the beginning of all that. Correct?
Exactly.
Where would you like to start, Bob? Because Bob is a fascinating guy, and I hope you get to see him speak sometime in person. He's a tremendous speaker. Bob, what inspired you to write the book?
The fact that I was there, and there were a lot of things going on, and I especially was concerned about a court-martial that was going on that I knew something about, so I volunteered.
Now, how were you in a position to step up, and what was your rank at the time? How did you feel you had the strength to do that? That's quite a bold move, isn't it?
Well, let me go back to the first question you asked.
Yes.
So I am now 70 years old. 1966, I graduated and began my fighter pilot. In 1970, after the Vietnam War, I stayed in the reserve airline.
Hey, Bob, you break it up a little bit. Could you speak just a little closer into the microphone, because it won't break up so much, and just kind of lean in, because, we want to hear your voice nice and clearly. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
I began my aviation career after Naval Academy through Vietnam. And in 1970, the active, but stayed in the reserve. I also began an airline in 1980. So I essentially, but in 1981, as a Navy captain, I was working Naval Aviation. I attended this in Las Vegas, September 1991.
Hey, Bob, what I think we're going to do is, because the signal's really breaking up, there are 120,000 people at this convention out here in Las Vegas. So what I think we're going to do is I'm going to get back. Are you available early next week? Because I'd love to have you on the podcast, and I'll get you on a regular line, and we can do it, because it's breaking up badly. But I do want people to hear your story, if that's okay with you.
That'd be fine, Tom.
All right, Bob, thank you for your time, sir. Bob Beck, ladies and gentlemen, he wrote a book about the Tailhook scandal, and he really stepped up and took a very, very strong position for women at that time, which was not a popular thing to do in the military back then. He's a wonderful man, and it's too bad that the signal really wasn't all that great. But what are you going to do? I want one of those. Where did you get that? You know about that, don't you? Where did you get that? Is that yours?
I didn't write down the code.
That is unbelievable. Honest to God, ladies and gentlemen, this thing is amazing. Is that what you do for a living? Honest to God, so you don't work really. You hang out and you have fun, and you make people look. Hey, you know what? You should have been on that flight where they're dragging people down the aisle or hitting people in the face with a stroller. We could have seen the whole thing. How much does that weigh?
26 pounds.
Oh, so that's it? That's amazing. Would you hit Joshua in the face for me with that? Yeah, the first thing I get here, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is a true story. Joshua and I have never met. So we get here, and they're having some technical difficulties, whatever. I don't care. I've been in radio my whole life. Radio's nothing but technical difficulties and pains in the ass. I mean, it's just that's a fact. It happens all the time. So I get here, and hey, Tom, how are you? I said, Joshua, what's going on? He goes, you need to get into makeup. I'm never going to forget that. You were right, though. It all worked out in the end. You're amazing. Will you come up here and sit down? I want to talk to you about what you're doing, because here's a man.
Tom, you're way too kind.
Not only way too kind. What happened to Louis? Is Louis' mic still over there? Josh, look at Joshua. Look at you pretending to do your job. Oh, he's using Johnny.
Thanks, Josh.
Here, you want some stripper chips?
Some strip tees. I actually... Does it come with strips also?
I don't guess.
Well, I would love some.
Everybody.
I know how they hold it in
I still am so jealous of that thing you have. Can I buy one of those? Is that a little spendy? I would love to come home from work, honestly, God, one day, just walk in the house with that and go, Catherine, what do you got cooking? How long have we known each other?
Gosh, some time now. It has to be a few years.
It's been a few years. And what were you doing then, and what are you doing now?
So we started off in 2010 making sensor fusion engines, augmented reality engines. You guys may know of the popular game Pokemon Go. Raise of hands. Yep. So there's a technology in there that combines GPS, your camera, the gyroscope, the compass. All of those sensors are working together to make these little monsters appear, at very specific GPS locations. So we also have a very, very similar technology at our company called NAB, AR, where we also deploy GPS and beacon. In fact, we just launched Texas Rope 'em at South by Southwest about a month ago. We're really excited about that.
So you're like him. You don't work either. I mean, honest to God.
It is a lot of fun, I have to admit. It feels like more fun than work most times.
To tell you the truth, one of the things I love about this job, like, we're in a situation where we ran into some technical difficulties. Louis only had about 10 minutes. He's supposed to be here for a half hour. It didn't work out, but the interview was wonderful because he's such a talent. And then, Bob's Skype line didn't work. It is what it is. I see an old friend, so let's bring him up. The world, I don't know. I just like to talk, I guess. Maybe I just like to run my mouth. That's what it is.
No, I think you do a great job, and it was cool that you got Louis to come up here. I really enjoyed his clip right there. So it's on the
Look
FX
at that.
show.
Yeah, you'll be on the next show.
Yeah. So Louis is on FX now with his show.
He is on FX. He just won Best Actor. Matter of fact, we'll watch another clip of Baskets right now.
That would be wonderful.
TomBernardPodcast.com.
Hi, Jen. Christine Baskets from Bakersfield.
You're doing well. I'm sure you're very busy. Everything. And hey, I'm in Denver.
He's on your team. So it's over at 12. So you don't have any contact from Terry. So, okay, just so you know. I mean, it's not supposed to be Terry.
You're next.
So this is my number. Call me here. Don't call me here.
Okay. Bye, Jen. Thank you.
Amazing
really good.
acting. Louis Anderson on Baskets, ladies and gentlemen, again won Best Supporting Actor Emmy. And I will tell you this, I was going to tell this part when Louis was here, and it just kind of got goosebumps from it again. But so he wins, and the family calls him, because my children have known Louis since they were babies. So they've never in life had a period they didn't know Louis. And so they call to congratulate him. and he wouldn't stop crying. He had to hang up because he's known them for 25 years.
That's awesome.
And he was so touched by it. Nobody works harder than Louis Anderson, and I'm so happy that Louis C.K. stepped up and brought him in. Zach Galifianakis, also Nick Swardson is a great friend with Zach, and I'm having dinner with Nick, as a matter of fact, on Saturday night. Nick is he's another guy. He's an amazing actor. And he was just on the show, as a matter of fact, talking about all of this. And Nick Swardson, if you've not seen him live, he's one of the best live comedians. Great actor, but one of the best live comedians you'll ever see. A lot of energy.
He's really funny.
He's a very, very funny man.
Funny. Very clever.
But I just love the fact that all he did was stroke Louis, and what a great actor he is. And I wish we'd have known that for a long time. I mean, it would have been unbelievable. So tell me more about your business. Now, you said you've been evangelizing.
We have been evangelizing. I mean, we've been around for 7 years, and I don't know if you remember pre-Pokemon World, when we would go to the agencies and brands, we had to say one day consumers are going to walk around with their phones held up in front of them like this, and they're going to tap on the screen to interact with content. That was probably, I'm glad to see those days gone.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm just so glad to see that gone. And it's exciting to see the marketers and the brands coming and saying, hey, we've got this wonderful idea that moves people to certain touch points around a city using the GPS. I hear that you guys can make it so the experience can happen indoors with these things called beacons, and we can get an app that works very similar to what we know right now with that popular title, Pokemon, which I think they did a wonderful job with that title. I mean, what swept the world within, maybe 90 days? Completely changed the way most of us marketers look at how we can actually move folks to certain touch points around a city and get them to interact with content. And I'm very excited to be a part of that industry right now.
How did it happen? Because you're like 16 now, aren't you?
Close. About double. What's 16 and 16? Is that 32?
Yeah, 32 will work.
Plus some change. Yeah.
You remember 32?
I drink a lot of green juice. What's that, Monster green juice?
Yeah.
Not Monster, those old Wallow things. Yeah.
So how often are you on the road? You on the road a lot?
Yep. In fact, I'm just coming in from Tech Day, New York. I get back home to Orange County tomorrow. I'm in Vancouver on Tuesday, San Paulo Thursday, then Dubai about 5-6 days after that. And then back to Orange County, hopefully for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, get some R&R time in.
You know, I just, on the flight in last night.
How was your flight? What'd you fly?
It was interesting. It was like a roller coaster ride coming in. There's no question about that. But I got to watch 8 days a week the Beatles movie, Ron Howard's wonderful, wonderful movie. And it's interesting because they were 18, 19, 20 years old. I think John might have been 21. And they got so huge, and I didn't know this, but obviously they had the same travel schedule that you have. I mean, going from this place to this place to this place, and they're performing for 100 people, and then it was 1,000 people, and I think their last concert was 56 or 57,000 people.
100 people, 1,000 people, and now 57,000 people.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
And when they wrote the song Help, and I did not know this, and maybe you guys knew about this, when they wrote the song Help, it was serious. They really, really needed help. That they were reaching out to people saying, help me, please. Because how do you take... Okay, so they break in 62 in England.
Okay.
In 63 in America. Matter of fact, people don't know this, but the Beatles broke in America the exact same month that John F. Kennedy was killed. You imagine the pressure
That they had.
They're coming to America. They're in America. The president gets killed. The Vietnam War starts. I mean, all of this is, Martin Luther King delivers this magnificent speech. All this is going on, but none of it stacks up to the Beatles. So how do you get that through your head that the president of the United States has been basically executed, and you're a bigger deal than that is? Now, for a 23, 24-year-old person, how do you deal with something like that?
I think I have an idea.
That's excellent. See, that's why I asked you.
Yes, yeah. So
Because he's smarter than me, that's
no,
why.
I'm not smart at all. But we have worked with a lot of people.
I'm not
and
smart.
For us to stay in business as mobile marketers and technologists, we need to really understand what drives you. Why are you deleting things off your phone? Why do you use things more so? And I think since 2007 till now, Tom, the one thing that I feel that we've learned the most while we make great technology, we do the things that companies are supposed to do, but at the fundamental level, we at people love escapes. During very tense and tough times, I think that we draw upon like our comforting experiences from maybe childhood or from a distant memory that we felt comfortable with. And when you take that with, say, music, something that we can relax to and listen and relate with, I think it acts as like an escape. And I think more of us are drawn towards that comfort than really dealing with the real world kind of sad, scary problems that are going on around us. Which is why I think they did so well during that time, given that all of those things are going on, the Vietnam War, and it wasn't that much longer we were sending a man up to the moon, and still
it was just a few years later.
Yeah,
exactly.
And still, they were just racking in the hits. Beastie Boys even came up around that time after the U.S. version of them.
Absolutely.
Same thing. The sentiment level really was people I truly felt wanted an escape and something to relate to.
So I sat on the airplane yesterday, and John is singing "Help," and you can see in his eyes that he really means, "Please help me. I don't know what to do. Help me feel better."
Yeah.
Because I should be feeling wonderful, and I'm not. Help me. Well, so I'm sitting on an airplane, and I think we're about 20 minutes out, and I'm thinking back, why did I get into the business that I got into? Why did I do that? On this podcast, I go a lot with how and why. Why did you do what you do, and how are you doing it? I love asking those two questions. And I thought about the reason that I got into doing humor and interviewing is because the only time I ever had any contact with my father emotionally was making him laugh. Other than that, I had no relationship with him at all. If I could make him laugh, we had a great relationship. Other than that, he had no interest.
Well, if I could have made my dad laugh when I was getting in trouble when I was younger, that could have helped out really well. In fact, my little brother here, he just went through that not too long ago. About 16 years difference between us. So you got lucky, Tim. You got him when he was a little older.
Yeah,
I had him
way
when he
to
was
go.
younger and more on fire.
That's why he could wear those socks. You couldn't get away with that.
I calmed him down a little bit, I think. Maybe.
So basically, so I take that through. Now I'm making my dad laugh.
Yeah.
My father actually told me when I was about, I think 8 years old, that he didn't care for me. And I suppose for a 7-year-old kid.
Tough love.
But it seemed normal to me. I just thought, well, no, he didn't like me. I got a tough hop. So I make him laugh, and I go through life. And I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood. And then I learned one other lesson, and it's kind of my help me moment. I'm going to this high school now in this very, very tough neighborhood, and I mean like murder people tough neighborhood, right? So I'm thinking to myself, help, I got to go to school with these people. But I learned if you made them laugh, they'd leave you alone. Just do not laugh at them.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Make them laugh, don't laugh at them, because if you laugh at them, you're done. Yep. And I mean, it got to the point literally where I got it down to such a science that this gigantic guy, and I mean this kid's 16, 17 years old. He's about 6'3", weighs about 240 at 16 years old. With messing around in the gym, I accidentally hit him in the back of the head with a basketball. He walks over to me, and he gives me the ball, and he says, "Look, man, I know you did that by accident, but if you ever do that again, I'm going to kill you."
What was going through your head?
I was like, ah, ah. But you know what happened that day? I have never been frightened again of anyone. I was so terrified at that moment. I've never been afraid of anyone ever again.
I can respect that. I had a similar experience, just not
phenomenal.
Not on that civilian side, but over in Afghanistan while I was in the military.
Yeah.
This is why I became an entrepreneur.
By the way, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. But I don't know if we ever had a chance to talk about this, but that actually is what got me into entrepreneurialism. I was first of the 87th Infantry, Fort Drum, New York. We were deployed in Afghanistan. We were coming back to our fire base one night, and we received contact on the right side of our vehicles. And at that moment, I was just convinced. I was looking up at the stars, and probably should have been shooting back. I did my job, but I was convinced. I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way we're getting out of this one.
Right.
I was just, it was in a choke point. We had our vehicles. They did an IED on the front. The first vehicle kind of stopped. We had battle drills, to get around that. Mm-hmm. But I was convinced. I knew that was my time was done. And we worked together as a team, just like we had trained. And we got through that situation. In fact, the worst damage that was done, Buddy Eilers got shot through the arm. That was about as bad as it got. We had almost our whole platoon coming back out. And I remember weeks later, we're back at our fire base, and now fast forward years later, and I was about 26 years old, and I thought, how can I buy a domain name? Because I had this idea to make every license plate in America to an email address. I was an RTO, so my job was to say like Alpha Bravo 226, this is Whiskey Pete 119, yep, move over, yep, Roger, copy. We'd be on the same frequency, and I thought, I wonder if civilians are using license plates to communicate with each other, like old school chat rooms.
Yep.
So I got the idea.
Absolutely.
And there was really nothing stopping me from getting in except fear. And I remember back to that night, looking up at the Little Dipper, and telling myself, if I can make it through that.
Isn't that it?
You never know what day is going to be our last day here. So I jumped into entrepreneurialism in 2007, and I've been blessed to do it. And I'm coming up on, 2017 now? I'm on my second company, sold that one in 2010, started this augmented reality company in towards the end of 2010, early 2011. Also from working with equipment from the military, the FBCV2, Blue Force Tracker, any DoD guys out here. That's kind of the initial base of what gave me the idea to make a location-based augmented reality platform called Candy Bar AR.
How do people reach out to you?
LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn like most people use Facebook or Tinder.
All right.
Yeah, I'm on there, and I would love to have a conversation with you guys. And Tom, I really appreciate you getting me up
You're
here.
a good man. It's
to have
great
a
to
chat.
see you
Well,
again.
you are as well. And thank you for having me here.
That's cool. You're unbelievable, man. Plus the fact you did a great job holding the mic, too.
Thank you so
nice
much.
And steady.
I'm actually speaking today at 3 o'clock on the VR panel here in the North Hall.
Oh, they just called me and said, since you were in here, you don't get to do that anymore.
Oh, well, I guess
They
I'm
said-
done then. We can go have a drink and chat about
No,
AR
you're good
tech.
to go. I think what I like talking about, and people get too political about this, but it is scary to me right now, and you and I are from different generations.
Yep.
We had this wonderful conversation just now on the fly. I'm really kind of afraid that people don't talk to one another right now. There's a lot of yelling back and forth and not a whole. And I'm not getting sappy or anything, or political or anything like that. But it does bother me that people are not talking openly to one another. A lot of anger in the world, and I understand why people are angry. I really wish. Just take a look at what that will do for you, or what that will do to hurt you. You know.
Well,
it seems smart to me.
I'm right there with you. Like I said, I've been in Kosovo, Afghanistan, here in the U.S. Starting at the age of 19, I got to see how people lived in those situations.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, the one thing I feel that if we could all start doing, I know this is like the happy, ever-ending, but just talking to someone and relating to them and just hearing what they have to say. I've actually found out that most people in Afghanistan and Kosovo, they're just like us. They just need an opportunity. They just want to, they want to have their kids to go to school, without getting shot. And same thing like, here in the States. But because we don't speak the same languages and they're so far away, it's really hard to relate to them. And now with the internet and social media, it's much easier to kind of at least get a glimpse of what it's like looking through a looking glass. Granted, we don't get the same physical, type contact and experience, but I wouldn't be surprised within the next 5 to 10 years, most of these millennials that are now fully connected with their friends on social and Snapchat and WeChat and these other types of networks, it's going to start making it so that people aren't so scared of each other. And I think we're going to start seeing more meaningful friendships and connections happening across borders.
Unless you're talking about me. I'm not a big hit on social media, I will tell you. You know what's interesting about that is I found out on social media, at least for me, and maybe for a lot of people either love you or hate your guts. There's really no middle ground.
That's me in the real world.
Well, I suppose that's part of the whole thing. But yeah, a lot of emotion on social media. Why do you think that is? Because they are disconnected, but it is a very, very emotional platform.
It's really easy for me to say, or for any of us to say whatever we want through a fake candle to anyone out on the internet.
Right.
I mean, what's the ramifications really? What's really going to happen? It's easy to take a pop shot on someone when they're down in the ditch, which is why trolling is so popular online. And I think that's really why that happens, because it's easy to do. And I think on some deep level, it makes us feel gratified that we were able to do that and get away with it. That's just kind of at the deepest, darkest, part of it. And that's probably just because I'm cynical now. And that's why I said that.
I don't know that you're cynical.
Well, that's why I think that. I think that's why people do it. Take pop shots.
Semi-hell, don't you think? When you think you're gonna, how old were you when you thought you were gonna die?
I was 21. Yep, I just turned 21
years old. You think I'm dead? You absolutely thought you were dead.
For sure. There is not a doubt in my mind. When I saw the disco rounds coming down, bouncing off our hood, I just knew for fact. But thank goodness for the 1114s, up armored Humvees. My goodness,
How were you that mature to get through that? Because me at 21, it would have been a big pee stain.
Tom, there's thousands of people like me. Thousands of
people.
us.
I want to hear about that.
Any infantryman, any service member that has served, either in combat theater or not combat theater, the way that I truly feel the way that they treat responsibility and the way that they can treat stressful situations, it just seems like the Clydesdales in them come out during those times. And I don't really see that so much across the board in other areas, but I'm also looking through the lens as a veteran myself, right?
I think that's a wonderful thing. I remember I went to a Minnesota Wild game on Saturday. Another great Minnesota sports team, by the way. Oh my God, they can't win. But anyway, I was walking down the street and these young guys were walking in front of me. They were probably 21. And they decided, well, we're going to go the other way. They were walking this way, we're going to go the other way. They spun around, and this guy spun around right in front of me. And as he was walking by, he said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, and I stopped him and I said, I got to tell you, you have great parents or something, because people are not that polite any longer. So I just want you to know I appreciate that moment. It made my day better.
You probably made his day too, and I bet he's still doing it now.
Well, you made my day. I was ready. I didn't even know you were going to be here. So you're speaking at 3 o'clock. Where are you speaking?
North Hall, right, Tim? Timothy. Simpson.
Stop hitting on the chicks, Timothy. We're trying to talk to you, all right?
North
Leave
Hall,
the
right?
women alone, for God's sake, for one moment. Do you like his socks?
I'm proud of you, Tim.
So is it North Hall, Tim? Are you speaking at 3 o'clock?
Am I speaking at 3 o'clock on the North Hall? Yeah.
You're a disaster. I'm going back to that. Timothy, you're a disaster.
This is actually, it's like Andrew. This is like Andrew 2.0 right here. At his age, I wish I was that squared away at 19. I really didn't start taking my life serious until 27. Well, as an entrepreneur.
Yep. No, I think it's great. Timothy, isn't that nice to have your brother proud of you? It is a wonderful thing.
And those socks. I'm a huge fan of those socks.
Those socks are amazing, man. You
should really get a chance to see these socks up here. They're really cool.
Probably get those socks on camera.
Probably.
Oh, like they're trying to zero in now. Here we go. There they are.
There they are.
Those socks.
There they are.
120,000 people at the NAB. And by the way, I should mention that a bit more.
Hashtag not sponsored.
The National Association of Broadcasters. 120,000 people at this convention, coming and going, of course. Beautiful facility, the Las Vegas Convention Hall.
It sure is.
How many miles is this thing? This thing is massive.
I think after mile 4 or 5, I stopped.
Honestly, God, it's just huge. They're doing a great job. People what I really like about it, people kind of coming and going, flowing back and forth. It's flowing
really nicely here.
It's very, very cool.
I've heard some cool conversations going on today too, so it's nice to see everyone kind of working together in that conference hall back here behind us.
Yeah.
A lot of good VR, AR companies over there as well.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you so much.
Joshua, don't try to tell people what to do. What are you doing?
Pretty much that's
well, that's true. Again, don't forget, Joshua's the one who told me, hey, you need to get into makeup as soon as possible. I'll never forget it, Joshua. Never forget it. How we doing, pal? You want me to take a break? I have to take a commercial break anyway, if that's okay with you. I have to do a 60, and then I'll do a 5-second silence for the feeling. Thank you. I'm talking to the director. I love talking to directors. And the man doing it now, he's not even yelling at me or anything, which I usually get yelled at a lot. Tom here. For a while now, you've heard me talk about how I lost over 80 pounds and feel amazing now thanks to Dr. Shelton. Well, you were going to say something. You notice I lost weight, didn't you? You're a good man. I love my friends. In any case, Dr. Robert Shelton, PSCD, and Nutrimos, you probably thought to yourself, I wonder if I could have the same success. Well, I've got an amazing opportunity for you to enjoy a free dinner at one of the Twin Cities' finest hotels and learn more about this incredible program from the doc himself. Dr. Shelton is holding an informative dinner this Thursday, April 27th. Is that tonight? No, that's tomorrow night. It's Wednesday, isn't it? I got up this morning at 1:45 this morning to do a 5-hour morning show, so I'm at a daze. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's tomorrow night, April 27th, 6 p.m. at the Doubletree Park Place off 394 and Highway 100. At the dinner, you'll hear the science behind this incredible program, learn more about how its customized approach will work for you, and hear the stories of people like me whose lives were truly changed by losing weight and getting healthy. Spots are filling up fast, though. So call 844-2FAT-BURN now to register. That's 844-2FAT-BURN. Can't make the dinner? You can always schedule a one-on-one consultation at TwinCitiesWeightLoss.com. We'll take 5 seconds for the Phil at Home by my son Andrew. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my special guest. Do you move so much they have to do your makeup while you're moving?
Pretty much.
What is that all about?
Pretty much.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, let's get with it. I'm doing good.
Terry Fader. Oh, Louis Anderson was really sorry he couldn't stay here.
Oh, man, I love him. Yeah, we
he
get to
loves
see him.
you.
What is this? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I like how some of the participants like sit on the other side. They want to sit
BJ,
anywhere near
can you
me.
open this? I can't.
I can open it
I only
for
have
you.
one hand. Sorry, go ahead.
Does he push you around like that all the time?
I do. Sorry. I can't open it with one hand, so. Okay, thanks.
Terry Fader. No, that's going to be a little
here
different.
we
Is it
go.
open enough?
No.
I'll get it.
She tightened
Let me
it.
get it for you.
I'm
Got
trying
it?
to use that finger. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay.
I don't have him. There you got it now. Terry Fader, ladies and gentlemen. How many years now, Terry? Yes, please.
8 years.
Big hand for Terry.
Hi.
Look at that camera, Terry.
That's amazing.
Is that thing unbelievable?
Holy moly.
I am just fat. I'm like a child
I want
around
one of
that
those.
thing. I do too. Did we ever find out how much they were?
Look at this. Okay.
Ballpark?
That's amazing. Wow.
That only weighs 25 pounds, that whole rig.
Really? That's incredible.
It is unbelievable.
That is really something.
I was told a story today. Somebody was all excited. They said, Terry's going to be on your show. I said, yeah, I'm a very lucky guy. By the way, we're here on TomBernardPodcast.com. Terry Fader. 8 years now.
8 years, yes.
Is that story true about when you walked on stage and they said, oh my God, a ventriloquist?
Yes, he said, oh no, a ventriloquist.
Oh no, a ventriloquist. Who said that?
That was David Hasselhoff.
It was
But then
Hasselhoff?
Sharon Osbourne kind of looks over and says, oh, geez, not another one, you know. And I have like an inside story about that, though, why that happened. So
Phenomenal.
The producers of the show had seen me perform and knew that, you know, I did something really different.
Right.
So they had put on 3 like really bad ventriloquists right before me.
Oh,
so within
no.
the first 2 hours, so what happened was they did 3 really bad ventriloquists and then they put me on. So as soon as I walked out, that's why they reacted. They wanted to get that kind of reaction.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and so they were like, "Oh no, not another one," you know. So
Tell you what I do a lot, and I just made reference to this. I love to interview people. I just love to interview people, and I always ask how and why you wanted to do what you do, and how did you get that done. And very quickly, 60 seconds hopefully. When I was 18 years old, living in North Minneapolis, was a very, very poor neighborhood, a really poor kid. I went to a local radio and television company. At 18 years old, I walked in the front door and I said, you should hire me to be on the radio station. And they did. But why? How did I ever, at 18 years old, because it was not like I was arrogant or had all that much, I don't know why I did it. That's why I keep asking people, why did you do that? Because I think I'm trying to find out for myself, why, Tom, did you do that? So where'd you grow up?
Well, for me, I grew up in Dallas, in the Dallas area, and then I moved to Corsicana, which is just south of Dallas. It was the Dallas area. And I always knew from the time I was about 2 years old that I wanted to entertain.
Right.
Because I just like the feeling. I like getting in front of crowds. I like singing. I like the feeling when people clapped and cheered and things. So I knew from then, you know, and so even at 6 and 7 and 8, I was always in all the school plays, and then I started doing the community theater things.
Right.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I could sing. I knew I was funny. I was always the class clown. So I thought, well, you know, no. So I tried magic and I tried hypnosis and different things that you know, as a kid. And then I found a book on how to be a ventriloquist and found out I could do it. And it came pretty naturally for me. So I got a little puppet and started doing it. And it was about maybe 11. I said, I think this is what I want to do for a living.
At 11?
At 11, yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Never changed.
Because I think I wanted to do radio starting at about 14.
Really?
Most people are not like you and me in that they don't.
No, they don't.
Have a clue.
They go through about 5 or 10 things, and
I
then
think you're
most
right.
people don't actually get to do what they love to do, you know.
You haven't said a word yet.
It's okay, I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm a good listener.
You're also very
Yeah.
handsome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. This is I shine my shell here too.
Yeah, you look phenomenal in the bow tie, I got to tell you.
Thank you.
So how did you team up with Terry? Where were you?
So you want me to tell?
You tell part and I'll tell the other part.
I love it.
So what happened was I was on America's Got Talent, and I wanted to, for my second routine, the first one was Emma Taylor singing At Last, which Winston can actually do an impression of that.
No.
Yeah, I'm an impersonating turtle, so I could do anyone.
You could do
anything. Yeah.
not Etta James.
Yeah. At last, my love has come along.
That's
My
phenomenal.
lonely days are over.
So that's
phenomenal.
Thank you. So I was on, and I had made it through the first round, and for the second round, I wanted to do this impression of Kermit the Frog, and I had this little Kermit the Frog puppet that I bought on eBay. And so I went to the producers and I said, "Is it okay if I use this Kermit the Frog puppet?" And they said, "Well, no, the Muppets won't allow you to use it because they only
Right.
have one Kermit the Frog."
Right.
So you want to tell the rest?
Yeah, so I was in this little pond and Terry walked by and I stuck my head up and said, "Hey, can I help you?"
And I said, "Can you do an impression of Kermit the Frog?" And he said, "Hi, how Kermit the Frog here?" Right. So that's exactly
Very
how it happened. But what really happened was I started looking online to try to find a turtle puppet, and I found a turtle puppet, and to do an impression of a frog. So I had them overnight it, and then once I got my gig, we did it, and I got through the next round. And of course, if you know anything about my history, I won the show, won America's Got Talent,
won it.
Became a headliner in
A little
Vegas.
round of applause for that's not bad either. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you. So then I created. This was a little turtle that I bought at a toy store, and I realized if I was going to be a headliner in Vegas, I had to have my own original puppet. So I designed this little guy, and had Puppet Heap, who is the same people who do the Muppets, create these guys, and they make them. I actually create them and design them, and then they make these guys. So
Yeah, I got to tell you something, Winston. I think my parents would have liked to design me better than they did. So I think he did a pretty good job.
that's the good thing about it. I don't have children, and that's what I say. First of all, you get to design them how you want them when they're puppets, and they only argue when you want to, and you get paid for them arguing. So I love that. So that's what all children should be, right?
I have to ask you, I love what you do. I wish I could do this. But if I did it, I think I would use it for evil. What I mean by that, if I'm in line and it's taken a while, well, I'll tell you this very quickly. I was in line at a supermarket once, and there were two people in front of me. And two people in front of me, started really complaining to the cashier. And he wouldn't stop, and he just complaining. This is wrong, and that's wrong, and la, 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 la. The guy right in front of me was buying a 5-pound bag of flour. He took the flour over the guy's head and split the bag and dumped it all over the guy. So what I would do if I could do what you do is I would sit back there and without anybody ever knowing it. You do that? I see this look in your eye like you might do that.
I actually do play tricks on people occasionally, you know. I mean, if you're a ventriloquist, you kind of have to, don't you?
It's phenomenal.
You know, it's great. Like when I'm going through security, and if there's, I only do this if there's not a line. If there's a line, I never do this. But I'll have the suitcase will be there, and as it's going through, I'll be like, "Let me out! Someone, let me out!" You know, and then they go crazy. So
yes, that's what See, I would use it for evil.
Yes.
So you do use it for semi-evil.
I do. Yes.
It's
I
fantastic.
do. I like to. If I'd had time to do a mic check here, I would have done. I do this thing where, like, if I'm on television, I did this at the Katie Couric show and the David Letterman show, and I'll be doing that. They'll say, "Do the mic," and I'll say, "Okay," and I'll say, one, hello, and I'm saying, "Can you turn off that echo?" And then they're like, "There's no echo," and they're like trying to figure out, So, but yeah, I play tricks like that.
Don't you love that about your life?
I do.
So you had a book, and you're 11.
Mm-hmm. Found a book.
How long did it take? Where'd you find the book, first of all?
I found it at my school library. I was just kind of randomly saw it, and it said, "Oh, ventriloquism, that looks like fun." And and I went to Sears, bought a $10 puppet, and started doing shows.
But so reading the book, how do you know what to do by reading a book?
Well, it teaches you how to substitute letters. So obviously, if you're not using your lips, you can't say P's and B's and M's because you have to have lips to say those. So it teaches you to substitute. And the book taught us that you're supposed to say, T for P and D for B and N for M. But I didn't like that. Because I said, well, that doesn't really sound. If I say, the boy bought a basketball, does not sound like the boy bought a basketball. So I would record myself, and I was always kind of a driven little guy. I always, wanted to be the best at whatever I did. We were janitors when I was a kid, and I was very proud of the fact that when I left a room, it was perfectly clean, and there were, you could inspect it, and you weren't going to find any corners that I had missed. I was really kind of driven that way. And so I would record myself saying, the boy bought a basketball, or Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, until I could say it and it sounded exactly like. So I can say, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers without moving my lips. Or the boy bought a basketball. and just
phenomenal.
learning how to do it with that, making your tongue do all the work, which sounds dirty, but it's not. So,
see what I,
so why my wife loves me.
You love him? You sure? Does he ever like do weird stuff to you too, like yell at you? You don't even know who's yelling at you. Are you sure?
I don't
'Cause
bring. It's true. It could be. Yeah. She's like, I hear someone outside, and I'm like, yeah, you do.
That's wonderful. You know, by coincidence, when I was 11 years old, I was a janitor.
You what?
maybe I was a janitor when I was
yeah,
11
really?
years old.
Yeah,
Yes,
so was I.
Absolutely. It was my first job. I was a janitor. And maybe it just gives you so much time because you're always by yourself.
Exactly. And well, my parents owned a janitorial business.
Right.
And so they would drop us kids off. I was about, 10, 11, and my sister was 8, and my brother was, a year older than me. And they would drop us off at a building, and we would have to clean the entire building. So it'd be like 7 floors.
Right.
And it wasn't like they weren't doing anything. They had other buildings to clean, and they would go clean the other buildings. And so I just was so bored, and I didn't like the monotony of it because my brain is going at 100 miles a minute. So I would listen to the radio. And I would say, oh, you know what? I'm going to listen to the radio and I'm going to practice singing. I'm going to sing along to the radio without moving my lips. That way I can practice my ventriloquism. So I would, Journey would come and I'd be like, don't stop believing. While I'm mopping and cleaning, hold on to that feeling, without moving my lips. And that's how I learned how to sing without moving my lips.
Oh, but how did you learn how to sing? Because I don't know any other.
It just came naturally.
Really.
I naturally can impersonate other singers. I was probably 28 before I knew that I was an impersonator, and I was at a bar watching a band, and they were horrible, and the singer was just horrible.
Was I in it?
No, it was actually he was throwing his voice.
Right, whatever. No, so I was. So this guy was terrible, and I leaned over to my friend and I said, why didn't he just sing it like the original artist? He was thinking he was doing Aerosmith, and my friend kind of looks at me like I'm crazy, and he says, you're the only person I know that can sing like every artist. And I said, really? I thought anyone could do it. I really did. It came so naturally for me. So doing the impressions of singers was just not something I had to learn. I just could do it, from the time I was a kid.
Because not a lot of people can sing that well.
Yeah.
So to be able to do what you do, first of all, there's a huge physical part of it that most people couldn't do. Then there's a ventriloquism part of it. Then there's a singing part of it. Tell me about the thinking part of it. So how do all three of them go together in your head?
It's I don't really have to think about it. Like you notice that Winston looks at me and he looks at you when you're talking. That's just thousands and thousands of hours of practice. Tens of thousands of hours of practice. So I don't have to do it anymore. I don't have to think about it anymore. He just does it. But I like equate it to like if you go to work. Think of Lucille Ball and when she was at the chocolate factory. And she's, having to stuff chocolate in her mouth and everything because she just started. Well, that's kind of how we are. We're all awkward and everything. But if you work, for 40 years in a chocolate factory, you're going to be able to do that in your sleep without even thinking about it. And that's kind of what's happened. Is I've just spent so much time doing it repetitively that I don't have to think about it. It just happens naturally. So.
It's really kind of sad. I just realized because I've been hosting programs for 47 years now, and I try to be polite. So I'm looking at you, and then I look at Winston, because I want to make sure he's included in the conversation. I'm like mentally ill.
No, that's good.
Well,
that means I'm doing my job right.
Yeah, that's right. You're doing your job right. So, yes, it's your fault. There's no question about it.
If he feels real, then I'm doing my job. Because I really feel like that a ventriloquist is so much more than just a person who talks without moving their lips. I feel like that our job is to create life out of an inanimate object.
What's an inanimate object?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
So I take cloth, and I take material, and I take wood, and I make it look like it's real, and make you think it's real. And that's really what if I'm not doing that, then I'm not really doing the job that a ventriloquist should do.
Well, that's the question I have for you is, what I really like about this setting right here today is there's a sweetness in Winston.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I love that you could take certain parts of your personality and just, I put it here, and I put it here.
Well, see, it's interesting you say that because I have, my show is very positive. because I'm a very
Right.
positive person. So I've never been able to create a negative character. I intended when I first started to, I was going to do this character. There's a crash test dummy. We call him Rex, W-R-E-X.
Yep.
And he's a crash test dummy, and he was going to be angry and mean. Because I mean, you would be if you'd been in hundreds of wrecks, of car crashes, and he's got. It's just great. He's got like a leg that's kind of hanging off with and an arm that's hanging off. It's just not quite attached, and I couldn't do it. I just can't. I'm not a mean person. I'm not I'm an angry person. I'm a very positive person. So instead of making him into an angry character, I made him into a scared character. That was just like, he was afraid of everything.
Absolutely.
And because I can't make a negative character because my entire life is positive. I have a very positive outlook on life. I've been through a lot of very difficult times in my life, and yet I always kept a positive outlook on things. So therefore, all of my characters are positive. So you're kind of right in that sense that my character does come out in the creations, in the puppets that I create.
But it's wonderful, and I just noticed, ladies and gentlemen, there's this wonderful balance in the universe, because I could all kinds of real mean puppets coming out of here. I'll tell you that. So there'd be a nice balance here. I really admire your abilities to do all those things. As I said, the physical part of it, the singing part of it, the ventriloquism part of it, and your personality. Without the personality, it all doesn't work.
No, I think that's true.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
You have this wonderful, you and I have never met.
No.
I did talk to you on the phone one time. You probably don't remember.
I don't, but because I do about,
you do
500 interviews a year.
Well,
But
there is
it's fine, but I'll remember you now because I've seen you face to face. It's easier to remember somebody when you're face to face. But
Joshua told me you need to go backstage, put a lot of makeup on. So if this is not my real face, anyway. But in any case, I would love to reach out. I do a morning show in Minneapolis, and I do this podcast now, and it's going into syndication. I would love to reach out to you because we only had 15 minutes here. I would love to talk long form with you sometime.
I'd love to.
Long form interviews, I love them because I want to find out about being an 11-year-old in a building by yourself. Because what happened to me was, when I was 11 years old, I was in a building by myself. There was a grain exchange in downtown Minneapolis, and there wasn't supposed to be anybody else in the building. I was in a building, this is like an 11-story building, and I'm cleaning the bathrooms, 1 through 11. And as I'm cleaning the mirror in this one bathroom, this man thought he was going to be funny and scare me.
Oh my gosh.
He rushes in, and I sprayed him right in the face with the window cleaner, and his eyes burnt, and we got to talk about it.
He deserved it.
He deserved it. Terry, you're amazing. Winston, who loves you more than me?
Oh, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So nice.
Terry Fader. If you've never seen him, you have to go see him. This is an incredibly talented man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Really wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, God.
And we'll do that. Are we playing, BJ, are we playing Minnesota, aren't we? I think we are in December. So maybe if we have time, let's pop by Minneapolis and do a show. So
wonderful.
I'd love to. I'll wear my parka.
Yeah.
That is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Please
Thank
tune in.
you, Tom.
TomBernardPodcast.com. Terry Fader, Winston.
This is so much fun.
Love
Thank
it.
you so much.
You are unbelievable.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Go to iTunes if you would. And now it's called Apple Podcasts. And rate the show if you would, because it really, really does help. Thank you very much. Joshua, we're good to go? Ryan, are you ready, Ryan?
Hi, this is Ryan Salazar. We're in North Hall of the Las Vegas Convention Center. We're at All Mobile Video, and we're going to walk into a production truck. This is my favorite stuff. I love to check out trucks here. So we've got Charlie Cook. How you doing, sir? Why don't you get over here? Talk about All Mobile Video and what you guys do.
We are a glass-to-glass provider for live event production.
Okay.
So we do everything from providing on-site production equipment to transmission and streaming.
Oh my God, you have all kinds of toys in here, right?
Yes.
So you guys build trucks, and we talked just a minute ago that the trucks he builds, they expand and contract, right?
Correct. So this is a 53-foot tractor-trailer truck. Expands on both sides. I think the expansion is about 48 feet long. So yeah, every time we set up, it pops out and then pops back in, gets back on the road.
Excellent.
Next spot.
And so these trucks get rented out to broadcasters?
That's correct. So on a show-by-show basis,
Excellent.
daily rentals. Yeah.
So it's literally a truck built, ready to get on the air.
Yep.
Excellent. Cool. Let's keep walking through the truck and just kind of talk about some of the gear that you have, some of the features. Let's go this way if you don't mind.
No problem.
I guess this is master control right here, and this is awesome. I want one of these.
Correct. So this is the main production area. This is our newest truck. It's about a year old, and it's a 4K HDR truck. All Sony cameras, Sony switcher. And this would be the main production area, graphics, director, producer, all that jazz. Audio's over here on the left. What we just walked through is the tape and engineering and camera control area.
Okay, so as a gearhead, I'm just curious what kind of switcher you have over there. It's beautiful.
It's a Sony, I think it's an 8000.
That's a beautiful switcher you got there. And it's look at all the screens you guys have. You have a lot of multi-viewers going on. You've got the timers, of course. That's pretty standard stuff. But the way everything is built is very slick. So you guys are literally building a truck that's ready for broadcast, and it probably what goes to sports stadiums and things like that.
We do a lot of entertainment. Is more of our focus. So anything music concerts to could be anything, game shows, whatever.
Excellent. So what does a show like NAB mean to a company like yours when the broadcasters are actually here with you?
It's a lot of visibility. Everybody gets a tour. They get to see what to expect if they do want to hire the truck for whatever show, and obviously meet all the right people, talk to the engineers, talk to the president if you want to.
Oh, that's great. So I'm real curious to build a truck. This is a 48-foot truck. Can you share what something like this might cost to build?
I don't have that info.
Okay.
That's above my pay grade.
Okay, all right. So how long does it take to build something like this?
Months and months. Lots of planning.
So it's literally you're literally doing engineering diagrams just like you would to build a production facility.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's a facility on wheels.
Yeah, and we have our own fabrication shop, so we actually do the fabrication ourselves.
Excellent. So and I'm sure you have partnerships actually with the manufacturers of this gear because you're doing this so many times. You probably have a lot of trucks.
We have 13 production trucks and then some other uplink trucks as well.
Great. Do they travel across the country?
Yep. This one will go back and forth all the time. Yeah. So our parent company, main company, is based out of New York. We also own 2 full production stages in New York, and then we have field shops in Los Angeles and also in New Jersey and in Dallas.
Excellent. I'm seeing RTS gear everywhere, the communications gear, and you have a heck of a lot of it. And so, I mean, this is meant to do, give me an example of like a type of event that this would actually cover.
First big event this one did was Garth Brooks. It was 24 cameras. That was all, record and cut live. I don't work on this truck all the time, so.
Like is it like a baseball stadium, that kind of thing?
Mostly entertainment stuff.
So like pageants and things like that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, so for anybody that's interested in your company and wants information on how to find you, do you have a website?
We do, allmobilevideo.com.
So allmobilevideo.com. All right, from the North Hall here in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Convention Center. This is NAB Show Live, and Charlie Cook. I love going in these trucks, and so thank you so much for sharing this. I'm gonna order one right now. So
Awesome.
thanks a lot. All right, back to the studio, guys.